my wife, 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 my wife. I cheated on my wife.
Jesus, that is gross. Marriage. Gen Z is really split on a lot of things, marriage being one of them. On the one side of TikTok, you have the opinion that marriage is a Bronze Age relic designed to imprison men and reduce women into baby incubators. And then on the other side, you have 19-year-olds dressed in milkmaid outfits running around talking about how great life is churning butter.
I'm 19 years old, married, no degree, no 9 to 5, and I'm exactly where I want to be. Yes, I got engaged at 18, married at 19, I didn't go to college, I don't plan to, I don't have a degree, I don't have a job, and I'm not getting one.
Well, this is nice. I mean, I didn't know they had TikTok in the 15th century, but here we are. 19, no degree, no job, married. That is literally a list of my greatest fears. And by the way, she got engaged to this guy at age 18, a guy who's 28, which depending on how long you were dating for, you're not so much a wife as you are a victim. How my Thursday nights look since I didn't marry a loser. Well look, the Chanel is gorgeous, and so is that 7-layer chocolate cake from the Cheesecake Factory. But you did in fact marry a loser. Oh yeah, I'm just out on the town with my wife, who I plucked out of high school. Yeah, I'm with my wife. We're having date night, just grabbed a couple cocktails. She had to use a fake ID to get served, but the Paloma was fantastic. Your husband's a bum, ma'am, and you might be too, though, honestly, so maybe this thing will work out.
My husband, see my husband, 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 eat husband is my husband, 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 and my husband, husband, my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband is husband.
Embarrassing. But look, at the end of the day, we don't have to listen to the opinions of brain-dead Zoomers on marriage, because what do we know? Sure, the oldest Zoomers at this point are like 30, but time stopped in 2020, and therefore nobody has aged a day in the last 6 years. Therefore, if you're 30, you're actually 24, and if you got married in the last 6 years, it doesn't count. This is simple mathematics. So for today, we're gonna put off unpacking Gen Z's views on marriage and this weird, trad debate. And instead, we're gonna examine marriages that are falling apart right in front of our eyes. Because the only thing I find more embarrassing than Zoomer trad wives performatively making their husbands their whole personality is TikTok husbands who actually hate their wives. And maybe we'll learn something from this whole thing. Or at a bare minimum, I'll get to make you angry.
Hey Parker, would you rather give me up for 1 year or give up golf for 2 years?
This is going to be a rough video. Before we get into that though, guys, I'm going to help you find the doctor that's right for your needs. Because the sponsor of today's video is ZocDoc. You guys already know how much I love ZocDoc. It's the free website where you can search and compare high quality, in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. From primary care to dentistry, eye care, skin care, and everything in between, ZocDoc's got you covered. Now that I've finished my big move to New York City, I'm trying to take my health a little bit more seriously. I got my health insurance sorted, and now I'm out here trying to get a primary care doctor, which I've been putting off for, I don't know, a decade. Basically my entire adult life. It's not good, but finding a new doctor in a new city ain't easy. There's so many options out there, it's hard to find who takes your insurance, who's actually able to give you an appointment, but thankfully, that's where ZocDoc comes in. With them, you can filter for doctors by insurance, specialty, location, see verified patient reviews, so you can pick the best care for you. When you found the doctor you need, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time that works for you, and instantly book a visit in just a few clicks. With ZocDoc, I was able to find a bunch of primary care doctors with availability within 24 to 72 hours of booking, and sometimes you can even score same-day appointments. So no more time wasted calling random doctors' offices, on hold. ZocDoc lets you do everything online. Like I said, you guys already know how much I love ZocDoc. Last month, I got a podiatrist appointment the day after I booked it using ZocDoc and was able to get that figured out before I moved. Their platform is just so easy to use and so helpful. So don't do what I did and keep putting off getting the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/marcinsco or click the link in the description below to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. Thank you so much to ZocDoc again for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it. Okay, would you rather give your wife up for 1 year or golf up for 2 years? Easiest layup question in the history of the universe.
You would give me up in place of golf?
Make it 5 years.
Make it 5 years. Make it 5 years. I'm gonna guess by this guy's Red Lobster ass face that he knows he fucked up here. He knows the camera's in his face. He knows this is being recorded. This is like a would you still love me if I was a worm type question. And he still decides to go with the boomer humor, old ball and chain, oh shucks, my wife sucks. Stupid bullshit. And he triples down.
That means you'd have to change every diaper, wash every dish, do all your own laundry.
Make it 20.
Has there ever been a man with a more punchable face? I don't know. I don't think so. She also tells him, like, oh, if I was gone, who would change the diapers, do the dishes, do the laundry if I'm not around? And again, not to be the wokler here, okay? Not to be the woke zerd of Oz. I'm not trying to do that, but, you know, justifying your value in terms of the chores you do for your husband, it's tough to watch, man. It's tough to watch. I think there's something to unpack there. If, you know, your response to your husband saying he'd give you up for golf is like, yeah, but then who would do your laundry? Like, I don't know, dude. And also, because I'm a disrespectful, so I just want to say also, this home appears to be decorated in the spirit of the home goods clearance aisle. Like, truly, why does your family home look like it's an Airbnb? This has nothing to do with husbands, I know. But actually, it kind of does, because, you know, this is an all-American family, and I genuinely cannot stand all-American marital humor. I don't care that this is relatable to people who have live, laugh, love signs, wall decor, and, you know, go on Disney cruises once a year. It's weird. It's just weird. And I get marriage is hard and I don't have the experience necessary to understand just how hard it is. But if this is what a successful marriage looks like, I'd rather wait for the rapture. Maturing is realizing that it doesn't matter if she's not the prettiest, she's an amazing mom and has the best personality. That's all that matters. Now, obviously, this is rage bait. But even knowing it's rage bait, it's still a red flag. And this is literally all this guy does, by the way. Life is short. Don't let your wife stop you from finding your next wife. When you're a 10 but you married a 5, she's a lucky lady. And he's been making these videos for 5 years, by the way, disrespecting his wife, all for the honor of 50,000 followers on TikTok, complete with a shitty AI-generated profile picture. And putting aside that this content strategy barely is even working, it doesn't matter that this is meant to be some laid-back couples content. You're a freak for this. Tristan. Of course his name is Tristan. T-Dog Lewis. Let's be clear, in order to make these kinds of videos, you have to be an absolute loser. And we know that this was his idea and not hers, because only a man would be stupid enough to find this funny. Been married 5 years and just realized my wife is flat-chested and won't get implants. Like, what is this, bro? You hate your fucking wife. It's not a joke. What kind of a man would make a joke like this with his actual fucking wife? I don't care that she's in on it. If she's okay getting humiliated by her bitch husband on the internet, that's her business. But this guy still does hate his wife, even if she doesn't realize it. Exposing my wife without makeup. Stay toxic, brethren. Is it possible to marry an incel? Again, they have children together, so, you know, you can see the back of their kid's head in this whack-ass video. So logistically, he can't be an incel, but spiritually, he's an incel. You married a man who hates you and, frankly, might hate all women. Hold on, honestly, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, here's the wedding photo. 7 years ago at Idaho Falls Temple. Idaho Falls Temple, which is a temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They're Mormons. They're Mormons. It makes sense. Mormonism. Always at the scene of the crime on this channel. Well, you know, maybe they'll go get some crumble and work this thing out. You know, case closed.
Just out here on a walk post-dinner with my current wife, Olivia, and my Great Pyrenees, Oakley.
Current wife?
I guess this one's not that bad, but again, just why? Just why? It's not even a good joke. Like, why would you introduce this energy, even for TikTok likes? It's just very strange to me. They look like they're in their early 30s. It's not like you're, you know, 85 years old. You've been married for 40 years and you're gonna crack this joke. Getting divorced and remarried is still a plausible thing that could happen in this relationship. Why would you joke about it? And record it specifically, okay? Again, if you guys have some sense of humor that the rest of us wouldn't get, but, you know, posting this dude is just so weird. Is just so weird. Hey guys, I'm just out here walking my current dog. Get it? Because my dog might fucking die and then I'll get another one.
I'm gonna need every man right now to chime in on this explanation from my husband. So how did this start? Well, we're watching a show and it's married at first sight. And I'm like, do you think that girl is pretty? Her husband's not attracted to her. It's so sad. I think she's pretty. And he looks at her and he goes, yeah, she's pretty. She's an attractive human. And I'm like, and he's like, she's not the hottest girl I've ever seen. I'm like, okay, well, like, who's prettier, me or her? And he's like, push play, let me see more of her. And
Push play, let me see more of her. Again, here's my dilemma with these TikTok husbands. What is unbelievable to me is not that in your heart of hearts you're this much of an asshole. It's just that you're stupid enough to show it. You're stupid enough to verbalize how much of a piece of shit you are. Do you think I'm prettier than that girl? Is the easiest slam dunk question imaginable. Babe, you're a 10 out of 10. I don't even need to look at the screen to know that you're prettier than her. Instead, you're going, we'll play a couple more minutes of the episode. Man, do they show any shots of her ass? I need to take a look. What the f is the matter with you? Do you have two brain cells to rub together? And again, I'm sorry, on a certain level, you have to give 5 to 10% of the blame to her as well. Because how is it even possible to marry someone this stupid? I mean, did he deceive you up until y'all hit the altar? Because he was probably this dumb before then. And frankly, I don't even know how it's possible for him to tie his own shoes without your help.
then he's like, I think y'all are about the same. You know, she's not like super hot. She's not the most attractive woman I've ever seen, but she is a pretty human. And I'm like, what the fuck? Excuse me?
This is brutal, dude. I mean, I don't know why you would post this. Like, what do you even think TikTok is going to be able to validate here? You got a shit-ass husband. You already know how you feel. What exactly is the purpose of airing this out on main? But anyway, let's hear the husband's perspective. Once again, the husband who just told his wife she's, quote, not the prettiest in the world. Let's see the hunk sex symbol that she's married to.
Please keep watching to see his explanation.
You don't marry the hottest chick you ever been with. The hot scale and crazy scale, they run on the same axis, okay? So you don't want to, you got a girl down here, she's not very pretty at all, but her freaking crazy scale is down here too. So you marry the person who have the good looks, but not high on the crazy. There's a cross-sectional graph there you got to hit.
I take it back. We're actually not dealing with two brain cells. We're dealing with one lone brain cell that's just kind of flickering once every couple of seconds, directing the fart that's coming out of this guy's mouth. This guy and Alex Myers are probably soulmates, by the way. I mean, just yapping about, crazy Latinas or whatever the
And she seems like she's kind of one of those girls who's like those ball buster types, she's always like, ha, bitch can't handle all this. I've never met a guy who can keep up with me.
It's wild. It's divorced uncle energy, and it's like you're not even divorced. You're married, and you're telling this to your wife. Telling your wife how the strategy is to marry someone who's less attractive because attractive women are crazy. Like, dude, if you want to go down to Jimmy's Tavern, okay, at the end of the day, after a long day of, judging by this video, hauling HVAC units, and you want to go down there, peel off a couple of cores, and talk to your boys about, crazy bro, it's always the crazy girls that are the most fun, man. If you want to do that, by all means, but I mean, I don't know, shouldn't you grow out of that by 30? I don't know, age 30? I feel like 30 is a generous number. 30 or when you get engaged. How about that? Whichever comes first.
I don't want to deal with the crazy. I pick something in the cross-sectional path. There's an area that you stay in. You do not get out of that. I stayed in that area.
And look, I think so far all these guys are examples of bad husbands being bad, literally on camera. But let's not forget that even the cleanest, most puppy dog seeming husband is capable of absolute crimes when given the opportunity. Who can forget Ariana Grande's fling with SpongeBob, who left his high school sweetheart wife and newborn daughter in the dust for a summer with a pop star? Or even better, the former wife guy king himself, and man with a clear humiliation kink, Ned Fulmer. And I want to spend a bit of time talking about Nettie Boy here because, when this whole cheating scandal with his ex-wife went down in 2022, I still had a real job and no one around me with enough hours of screen time to to talk about this with. Quick recap, Ned Fulmer was one of the try guys, the BuzzFeed guys who go out and try things, and unfortunately one of the things Ned tried was cheating on his wife. His wife Ariel, who was like in episodes of the Try Guys, they were all friends. They, Ned and Ariel had like a cookbook together that I think was called like Date Night or something. But it made sense. It was on brand because Ned's whole brand was being a wife guy.
My wife. 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 My wife.
My wife. And you know, I think Ned has gotten kind of a bad rap. Okay? You know, things happen, guys. He was a loyal husband, you know, couple goals, who accidentally slipped and tripped and, you know, had an affair with an employee of his. It happens. It happens. When you have no integrity, things like this happen, okay? And he would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for a pesky fan taking a picture of him making out with that employee at a bar. Can I just say, by the way, what happened to having a degree of decorum in this country? We're not in Italy, okay, where you can cheat on your wife more easily than you can get a glass of water at a restaurant. This is America, okay? We live in a conservative, shame-based culture where it is generally frowned upon to cheat on your spouse, which means if you're part of a YouTuber quartet with millions of subscribers, you probably shouldn't be tongue blasting your coworker in a Panera Bread. And by the way, this only applies if you're a public figure, okay? If you're just a regular person, you know, do whatever you want. Case in point, I don't know if you guys saw this too, but the Central Park lawyer situation has been pissing me off. There was this TikToker, Jay Guapo, who's a loser, by the way. 3.5 million followers, and he's a total loser for this. Because he recorded himself going up to two random people in Central Park and filming them making out and posted it to his millions of followers.
Oh no, sorry, just kids, man. Don't touch me, don't touch me. If you touch me, I have to touch you. Come on, get a room. Y'all was making out and as kids. No. I don't record.
Okay, yeah, listen, they're obviously guilty, but, you know, I don't give a fuck if this makes me a bad guy. This is crazy. This is why people hate influencers. You're going up to random people and putting them on blast in front of millions, you know, because for the crime of making out. And of course, I get it. It turns out they're lawyers and, you know, married to other people. And now their careers are f***ed. And you know what? What did that accomplish? What did this accomplish? Yay, we just ruined multiple lives. Hooray for the digital panopticon. You don't even know what's going on in these people's lives. You don't know what arrangements they have in their marriage. Who cares? They're private people. All of you who loved this video, I think you guys are terminally online freaks. This entire comment section was pulling the names of these people's spouses, their family members. The New York Post has been running with this for like 2 weeks now. You're all a bunch of the biggest cops I've ever seen in my life. Just snitches cheering on TikTok mob justice over some shit that's none of your fucking business. Should you cheat on your spouse? Of course not. But you know, this FBI level inclination to record random strangers and just, you know, serve them up to the universe is crazy. It's way more concerning than two attorneys smooching in Central Park. What was I talking about? Ned Fulmer, who's not a private person, okay? So he's a public figure, and he's been publicly humiliating himself for like 4 years at this point.
I need you to know that the reason you can't come back on the internet and like get your career back is not because you cheated on your wife. Fulmer, you can't come back because you're not funny. Like that stand-up clip.
Okay. First of all, he leaked his own field dating profile. Ned Fulmer back on the market. Ladies, if you're interested. Which Field, if you don't know, is like a slightly freakier version of Hinge, I believe.
Do I do jumping jacks on a D?
And here's his profile. Dom leaning switch looking for a bratty sub. Oh, is that so, Edward? I don't even know what that combination of words means, but it still made me cringe. I know I said being a 19-year-old trad wife with no job was my greatest fear earlier, but honestly, a close second would be being a 38-year-old divorced dad fishing for bratty subs. Also, 5'10". 5'10", Edward. Listen, man, you gotta at least make it believable. Let's take a look, actually. So, Ned Fulmer's 5'10", and this other try guy, Zach, is 5'7". And here's a picture of them standing next to each other. Somebody's lying, guys. Ned actually might be shorter than Zach. He might be 5'6", and that's great. But, you know, I don't know who he's gonna be dominating. I mean, with those stats, it's gonna be a struggle just to dominate the rides at Six Flags. And the humiliation ritual continues. He also launched a podcast called Rock Bottom, which is currently struggling to crack 1,000 views on YouTube. Except for, of course, when he invited his own ex-wife, Ariel, onto the pod. And she agreed for some reason.
I'm on the verge of like standing up and walking out of this room. Absolutely.
Same.
I'm like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing?
And you know what? It takes two to tango. You know, she agreed to do it, but clearly this podcast isn't rock bottom because Ned keeps going lower.
What happened?
Well, the dream started to break apart for me, and then rather than being able to talk about it or to confront those feelings,
You went and stuck your dick in your producer. We know, Ned. We know. We don't gotta do all this. Do you understand why I had to find an excuse to talk about this guy? Because this is insane to me. This is peak content brain. Like, this is what therapy is for. Why did you guys upload this? Again, 5% of the blame. 5%, not for the cheating, obviously, but 5% of the blame in terms of the public spectacle of this situation. Why would Ariel go on this? Like, what are you doing? Like, oh, my ex-husband who publicly destroyed my family. Sure, I'll go on the pod. Sure. What? Anyway, I think at one point or another, Ned realized that the only thing he does that gets views is when he talks about him cheating and his ex-wife, and so he just won't let it go. He just won't let it go because it's the only notable thing about him. And so he also chose to pick up stand-up comedy recently, and that's also been doing the rounds for, of course, the material he chose to go with.
my friends, they're like, oh gosh, I would pay any price just to have an hour to myself. And I say, my friends, a price does exist. For a mere 50% of your net worth in crippling loneliness.
The joke is that he ruined his life. Please clap. Please clap. No matter how hard it gets, guys, you know, it's somewhat reassuring to know it'll never be as bad as being Ned Fulmer. And this is completely self-inflicted as well. Like, not even in terms of the cheating, which is 100% self-inflicted, just in terms of continuously bringing this up year after year, month after month, even when nobody's talking about it or you. He's like an E-list celebrity with some of the worst main character syndrome I've ever seen in my life.
Ned Fulmer is still a wife guy. He's just now the guy who cheated on his wife guy. That's still his whole personality.
And don't get me wrong, there are enablers at work here too. Ned Fulmer had a panel at VidCon. At VidCon, Ned Fulmer had a panel. Was it YouTube that invited him? Like, I want to know. Presumably so. And what was the panel about? How to destroy your YouTube career? How to invite a workplace sexual harassment lawsuit? Let's read about it. There were echoes of a sentiment Ronta shared at the beginning of the one-on-one conversation. Admiration for Fulmer's vulnerability and courage in sharing his mistakes in front of a room of people. Well, I don't admire his vulnerability whatsoever.
Funny YouTube comments that are like, man, imagine just waking up every day and you're Ned Fulmer. Yeah.
I don't even think this is vulnerability. I just think it's him clinging to any ounce of online relevancy he has. This idea, too, that there are no other jobs out there, like, you're allowed to hang it up for even a little bit. Granted, his stand-up is so bad that he probably can't write, but Hollywood is full of hack writers. Work behind the scenes, produce for other YouTubers, become a bartender, join the Men of the Night's Watch, I don't know. To try and stay in the limelight like this, based on your cheating scandal, is so distasteful and it's bizarre, just bizarre. But again, I think the case of Ned Fulmer is a good counterbalance to the guys from earlier who are openly hostile to their wives, because being a performative wife guy is the flip side of the coin of just being an open asshole. It's just as bad. Frankly, it might be worse. There is something that is more sinister about a snake than a shark. You know what I mean? Like, you got the guys who are doing this over-the-top, masculine routine, you know, ready to assault someone in a Wendy's parking lot. And then you got guys named Edward, you know, who act all innocent and feminine and soft. But really, it's a marketing strategy.
Jen, there she is. What's up? What happened? You didn't want to get a coffee with me this morning? I pinged you. Shut up. You're still look at you laughing. God, you're so annoying. Oh, you're funny, though. You're funny. You know you're funny.
And eventually the mask will come off. And then you will find yourself, for some reason, on your ex-husband's podcast, listening to him do a post-game interview about him cheating on you. But I digress. You know what? Thank you to TikTok for continuously contributing to declining marriage rates. And at the end of the day, guys, everybody's got their own idea of what an ideal relationship looks like. I'm not yucking anybody's yum. We're all looking for something different in a partner. But while there's much diversity in what people do want, I think there's a few things we can all agree on that we don't want. Respect. Mutual respect. I think it's the foundation of any relationship, romantic or otherwise. And maybe attraction fades over the years, or even love. Again, I wouldn't know, but respect is the bare minimum that can and should remain constant for forever. And you know what? Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think respect isn't that important. And you know, if that's the case, and you live in Los Angeles, you should download Field, because I've got the guy for you.